Plague and the change of the government, this town has been unbearable, lifeless, filled only with boredom, propaganda, and control. I've tried to escape, and I've failed this time. But I'll find a way. They call me, this town has Mr. Prepper. Lifeless, filled only with boredom, propaganda, and control. I've tried to...
Good morning, everybody, and happy Friday. If someone give me a 5x5, that would be greatly appreciated. Looks like all the lights are green, so I've kicked the tires and lit the fires and all of those good things. Looks like we got some people in the chat already. I want to say good morning first to Deanna, first Cindy Hoffman, number 2, and BKLYNG, Bicklin girl? Oh, Brooklyn girl. Did I get that right? Brooklyn girl? You are deterred. Stephanie, good to see you. Let's see here. We got Sean's in the house. Goomba. That's my bust of Azul. There we go. And let's see here. We got Cindy Lou and Alrighty Canada. Thank you, Deanna, for giving me that 5x5. We're going to go ahead and jump right into this. As you can see, I'm back in the apartment today. The echoiness is because of the emptiness. Let's see here. And it says that there are 9 people in here watching. So if you haven't checked in, please do so now. Also, if you could put a 1 in the chat to wake it up, that would be great. We're going to go ahead and kick this off. Hopefully, if you like my new clean layout, this is the new thing. I did this years ago. I literally just regurgitated my layout and a little bit cleaner look from 3 years ago. I went back and looked at the analytics, and it's like everybody kind of liked it. So this is the way we're going to roll for a while until something goes wrong. Until something goes very, very wrong. All right, let's see here. We're going to go ahead and flip this button over here, and we're going to have a sip of coffee, and we're going to start off with the price of gold. The price of gold, if you guys didn't know, the price of gold is doing some fluctuating. Nothing crazy, nothing to be alarmed about, but I can tell you that when the price of gold and the price of silver go down, that means that the economy is doing well. People hedge their bets with gold and silver because they're worried about the economy. It's that easy. So when the price of gold goes down, that means the economy is doing well. Also, I'm going to briefly touch on oil prices. Once again, if you guys didn't know this, I am not an economist. I do not give you investing strategies or anything like that. Disclaimer activated. I'm just some guy reading the internet using common sense like all of you good people. All right, so gas prices. It looks drastic. I mean, that just looks so bad. Can I zoom in? I don't think I can zoom in on this one. But yeah, blowing things up, gas prices still going down, blowing things up, gas prices still going up, but look right where they are again. So this is all, and oh, by the way, these are in dollarinos, US dollars. So blowing things up, $71 a gallon, blowing things up, $72 a gallon. So anybody that's screaming about the price of gas, and also anybody who's screaming about the price of gas is full of El Crapo. It's that easy. I wanted to break that down for my Spanish-speaking friends, El Crapo. And yeah, it's just not worth our time to worry about it. That's why this is a very, very short segment. If you know the lowest price of gas, and I guarantee that you do, put that in the chat for me, guys. That's right. This is a very chat-specific. I like to keep the chat rolling here. I actually have statistics that tell me if you guys are putting out, if you're doing your job. Right now, our chat rate is 0. But it could be worse. It could be worse. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and roll off of that and get the process started. Like I said, I just like to cover some daily stuff that gets people kind of like wondering what's going on in the world. You know, just people that are kind of thinking. If there's something that you want to talk about today, put that in the chat as well, and we will eventually get to that. I do have subjects lined out, and we're going to go with the first one. Something making a lot of news right now are these darn flock cameras, so disclaimer, I am not fond of the flock camera system. I do not believe that we need these things. I will say that they are excellent tools when they're not being what is the word I'm looking for here? When they're being used for legitimate law enforcement purposes. If you didn't know this, guys, the flock cameras belong to the police department. They belong to law enforcement. They don't belong to your county, your city, you know, the state government. They belong to law enforcement. Law enforcement pays for them to be put out and that information to be accessed via a portal. So one of the problems with this is that people are abused. The system is being abused by some crazy ass cops that should be doing something more than what they're doing right now. I don't know if they're just trying to justify their jobs, or if they're trying to what's the word I'm looking for here? If they're I feel like they're just trying to justify their jobs, to be honest with you. And the reason I feel that way is because we're seeing this more and more and more, with these flock cameras are being used to do some really stupid policing. Okay, I've got this video pulled up right here. I'm going to make it bigger so you guys can see it. That's what she said. I need to make sure the audio is on for the desktop. It looks like it is, and I may mute my mic, but this little video right here should give you an idea of what is actually happening. So let's go ahead and do that.
We have cameras everywhere in that town. You can't get a breath of fresh air in or out without us knowing.
Chrisana Elzer learned the power of flock firsthand.
You were in town from 11:52 until 12:09. Exactly. Like I said, nothing gets in or out of the town without us knowing.
When a Colorado police officer showed up at her door holding flock snapshots of her truck.
And here's when you left at 12:09. That's when you left town.
To get?
No, to stop at Ridge Trail.
Wait a minute.
And take a package. Well, there's no shushing. I don't need to be.
I need to know where this is.
The first thing he pulled out on the body cam is that flock picture, the clear photograph of your car.
But here's your vehicle in the neighborhood many, many times, apparently casing houses, because you just can't drive through for work or visit other businesses. You can only be casing houses.
It is her. It is 100%. It is locked in. There is zero doubt. I wouldn't have come here unless I was 100% sure. 100%. It is certain. It is on video. You're obviously welcome to go to court.
Chrisana was charged with stealing a package, but it wasn't her. The porch pirate was somebody else.
Multiple times you tried to show him your video evidence. He didn't want to see it.
No, even when I called him back, he said, that's not my job.
You looked at a time of a crime. You saw my vehicle entering in the flock camera.
No, what I did was, I did an investigation.
You called my wife a liar. You said this is fact.
I have video evidence. I don't know what you want me to say.
The charges were dropped after Chrisana spent weeks trying to get the police chief to look at her evidence. Time-stamped video from her truck and a neighbor's doorbell camera showing she wasn't at the scene of the crime.
What does it say about where we are that you feel you have to have more cameras than the police have in order to make sure you can prove yourself innocent?
It sounds like it flipped the script to you're guilty until you prove yourself innocent.
Without a flock camera, that detective would not have been at her door. By his own admission, he pulled out the flock picture of her car. Do you want to apologize to Chrisana Elzer for what happened to her?
For the police misusing the tools? I don't think that I have to apologize.
He wasn't charged with a crime. He wasn't, I mean, other than being reprimanded for his attitude.
Sure. No, but I would tell you that, like, should I apologize for somebody misusing a tool? I don't think so.
Flock Safety Chief Communications Officer Josh Thomas.
Who's watching the watchers in these cases?
Well, the city council. The city owns the data, so city council would have the appropriate responsibility in that case. Our point of view has always been that it is not Flock's job to police the way police do their work.
Okay, so as you saw there, it's pretty insane. It's pretty insane what they're doing with these flock cameras. And you should be very aware of it too. Like, most people know that if they have a police department that has some, like, a shady officer, or if the town council has been doing, like, these weird things that, it's like, okay, why are they doing all this stuff to change the town? And why are we all of a sudden getting tickets all of a sudden for, like, it's like when they change the variables, when law enforcement in these small towns change the variables, what happens is it's a move from normalcy to tyranny. And they don't think that they're doing it. You know, I'm watching that cop from the very beginning. I'm going to put it right there so you guys can see it. Watching that cop from the very beginning, this guy was just hunting. That's all he was doing. He was, I have all this evidence and you did it. Well, here's the thing, guys, and you should be very aware of this. If this was the case, if he was 100%, when he came to her door, he would have came with a warrant for her arrest. He would have arrested her. He would not have been bombarding her with information, trying to prove his case to the individual. In this particular situation, you just simply tell the cop, I'm sorry, I don't answer questions, I'm not talking to you, and I'm not a lawyer and I'm not giving you legal advice. But if the law enforcement officer has a case, okay, then he's going to arrest you. It's that easy. That's what should have happened right in front of there. But he didn't, and he knew it. He couldn't prove it. So he figured he would come by and try to coerce her into saying something. All right, try to pressure her and use tactics that he's taught. He's clearly an investigator. He's not a uniformed officer. Okay, so he's clearly an investigator. He's had some kind of training, even at the very basic level, to deal with people, to try to get them to, oh yeah, it was me, I did it. I'm so sorry. I never thought I'd get caught. Oh my God. And so that's what he's doing there. That's what he's doing there. And as far as the guy who's doing the interview, yeah, he's an idiot. You know, it's like you're going to try to get the chief communications officer for, Flock Communications to apologize. Why? He didn't do anything. That'd be like apologizing for Joe Schmo who broke the law, or, in the next town over because you happen to know, because you saw him on the news. It's like, oh my God, maybe I'm a part of that. No, you're not. Don't be stupid. These flock cameras, guys, they're scary. And I think if you are one of the people that like to be engaged, like go to city county meetings or city government meetings and things like that, or city council meetings, there you go, then you should probably be paying attention. You should be if your town has a board or a website where they propose things, agenda items for their meetings, you should be paying attention to these things. This is why these little governments and these little towns and these law enforcement agencies get out of control. They get out of control because nobody's paying attention. Then they start to just do whatever they want to do. Okay? That's exactly how it happens. I know of a town right now, no joke. It's a small little town on the eastern shore of Virginia. I won't say any names. And they've decided that they're going to put an action item on their agenda for a vote to spend I think it's a little over $1 million, I think, to put crosswalks in their downtown area. Their downtown area are 2 streets that intersect, okay, that have maybe 6 to 8 businesses right in that city area. No one has ever been hit there. Nothing has ever happened at that intersection. The speed limit is 25 miles an hour. People know not to go screaming through there. This is a tiny little smoky town on the eastern shore of Virginia, but the city council wants to spend over $1 million, is what I'm told, to put crosswalk. And I'm like, so this is the business that I need to be in. I need to be in the white line drawing business. Because if someone's going to pay me $1 million to draw these lines, obviously it could be more than that, like a push a button, walk, don't walk, things like that, at an intersection that doesn't even have a light, okay, then someone on the city council is going a little crazy. It's that easy. Someone isn't saying, stop, you're being stupid, okay? There's clearly an agenda there. What reason it is, I don't know. I just know it doesn't really make a lot of sense. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. And since I'm technically leaving the area for a while or whatever, I'll be in and out of the area. Then it's very questionable. It's very questionable. Okay, so I'm going to go to the chat right now. Looks like we got a couple of things in there. Looks like Brooklyn Girl says, wow, that's nuts. Yeah, the flock camera stuff is out of control. One of the things that I tell people is it's called normalcy bias. It's where you get used to this stuff. It's kind of like the adage of the frog in the frying pan, that where they slowly turn up the heat. It's kind of like that. But there is a system called a stingray system. It could be inside of a vehicle. Most of the time, it's this really ugly pole that's in your town. And what the stingray system does is It is what they call a cell tower simulator. But what it really does is when you're on your cell phone, right, and you're driving away from a cell tower, okay, there's a certain level of signal strength that your phone is reacting to, right? And when you get to the point between the two towers where it's weaker on this side and stronger on this side, and you're traveling this direction, the phone says, I'm going to use this tower, okay? So your phone is programmed to do this, but if they put this emitter, this simulator, somewhere in that cell, and they give it just a little bit more power than the cell towers are using, then what happens is your phone connects to it, and then it passes through to the next more powerful tower. Now, when that happens, what is happening is there's data that's being transmitted. One is your unique ID that's on that phone, the actual phone number. It can transmit some data, but one of the things that people don't know is that this has been going on for about 11 years. This is the technology that the military developed to track bad guys using their cell towers in Afghanistan, but they adopted it for use in law enforcement. And if you got this guy's phone number and you want to track him through a series of different towers, then you can quite easily do it. You can watch him move from tower to tower to tower. And this, like I said, these things are up everywhere. If you've seen one of these things, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's this really big, it's like this, it doesn't look like a traditional multi-array cell tower. It's normally like this black thing that's wrapped around a pole. It looks like a black sheath that's wrapped around a telephone pole that has a giant black box at the bottom of it, elongated black box. If you've seen one of those, put that in the chat. Hey, Tucson Prepper, good to see you, bro. It's been there forever, and people are just like, what is that? And they just continue on with their day, but they've been doing this stuff for years. I know that, I want to say, I think it's Mecklenburg County up in, or up near Charlotte. No, that's Wake County. They operate it. It's old technology, and they have to keep updating it because it was only originally designed for 2G. And now we're at 5G. So there's some issues with it not getting the information that they want. And they're in the process of doing that. But with these flock cameras, it's actually less expensive to put these flock cameras everywhere. And so that's what they're doing. And it's a major issue because what they've done is they've inched into our Fourth Amendment rights. Okay. You know what? I need to change. Let me change this screen right here. What they've done is these flock cameras are inching into our Fourth Amendment rights, and it's illegal search, that kind of thing, right? But they're trying to write it so that if you're on a public road, then there's no what's the words I'm looking for here? There's no assumption of privacy, but they're actually tracking you. So they've dipped their toes into our Fourth Amendment rights. But matter of fact, it was last week or the week before, there was actually a Supreme Court ruling that talked about warrantless searches using cellular phone companies. And what the cops are doing is they're saying we're conducting an investigation, right? Under the auspices of an investigation, they contact the phone company and they issue them a subpoena saying we want all information about this particular phone number, right? And so they give them everything. All their text messages, all their emails, their tracking information, when they were, where they were at, when they were at, what they were doing. You know what I'm saying? They were looking at a Google app. All their Google information, everything. They send the subpoenas out to Google to do all that, and they all, okay, yes, it's a subpoena. I have to comply, right? Well, Supreme Court and they did this all without a warrant, right? And it was all completely legal. And so the Supreme Court just announced that it's now illegal, and now they have to have an actual warrant to conduct these searches, because they were violating our Fourth Amendment rights. And so we have to be conscious. We have to be conscious of the fact that these things are happening around us. I'm not here saying, oh my God, the world's ending. I'm simply telling you that you need to be very aware of this thing. Now, with all that said, here's what I'll tell you. I did some research myself. And I kind of like looked into like, okay, so this is an active tool. Like whenever there's like something serious that's happened, this is a great tool to have. You know what I'm saying? And so I talked to the old AI monster Grok and said, like, make me a list. What did I say? I said there are major controversy over the use of flock cameras by law enforcement. There have been multiple issues of law enforcement violating citizens' constitutional rights with them or misusing their ability to review flock camera data. From the perspective of stopping major crime, list the crimes that flock cameras can stop in order of severity. And so, homicide, murder, great, we need flock cameras. Kidnapping, child abduction, we need flock cameras. Sexual abuse, yes. Armed robbery, violent robbery, aggravated assault, shootings, carjackings, fatal or serious hit and runs, violent home invasion, auto theft, drug trafficking. Yeah, these are all great things. These are all serious crimes. These are the top 10 crimes, okay? But here's the thing. That's not what's happening. Then I told her to make a list of moderate crimes: burglary, grand larceny, organized retail theft, fraud, nonviolent drug distribution, hit and runs, arson, vehicle burglary, embezzlement, and then I told it make some minor crimes: petty theft, vandalism, minor hit and run, trespassing, disorderly conduct, simple drug possession, minor traffic related offenses, lottery or littering, and solicitation. Yeah, that's really a weird way to do that. And then what I found out after I prompted it a little bit harder was there's about 700,000 crimes. Basically, about 10% of reported crimes are solved using flock cameras, okay? But Flock supported more than 1 million criminal investigations and incidents. So it's like, okay, well, what happened to the other 300,000 investigations? If the Flock is so damn good, 300,000 investigations that didn't lead to anything using Flock. That's a problem. That's a huge problem. Oh, by the way, that's 30% of the investigations. It's a pretty serious problem if you think about it. Okay, let's see here. We got abuse of power. They're hoping you don't know your rights. Absolutely true. Someone's getting paid for those lines. Absolutely. Tucson Prepper, I said hi. Sneaking in here. What's up, Bradley? Good to see you, man. Don't get in trouble. Ignorance of law is not a defense, so get to know them well. There you go. A camera can't stop anything, just aid in surveillance. There we go. Absolutely. And also, I do have a poll question in there. If you guys are interested, you don't have to vote. You could vote right now if you wanted to. It doesn't matter. It's just something I've been thinking about. The question is, are you seeing preparedness becoming more mainstream? And 40% say starting, but not fully yet. 30% say still mostly niche. And 20% say yes, clearly trending now. And 10% haven't noticed any changes. Before the end of the live stream, or if you guys have to leave, do me a favor, make sure you put your vote in there. I'm very curious to know what you think. Okay, and you know what I haven't done yet? 10 super chats, all colors, and we're going to keep this on for an hour. And let's go ahead and keep Julie's snack. Kits full. Keeps Julie's snack. Julie, I can't even. My eyes are getting so bad. There we go. And we'll do that right there. All right. And start to go on. It's probably going to screw my chat all up. All right. So we've got that out of the way. Let's go ahead and roll on to something a little weird. I wanted to share this with you. I wanted you to be aware of things that are happening, but I always try to find something funny, but this is not funny. And I've got to give you, you know what? I'm not even going to show it to you because I'm going to tell you about it. So I believe it was in Brazil. This 21-year-old woman passes away because so basically you could jump off this bridge. It's a 40-foot drop, and they have a safety rope supposedly to hook to you. And what they do is they hoist you up, and so you can be in the Superman position, right? And then they throw you off this bridge, and then it's supposed to be like this exhilarating thing. They forgot to connect the safety line, and so they literally just threw this 20-year-old woman to her death. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not going to show it to you because you basically see the last moments of another human being seeing this woman alive, and it's a little dark. It's a little dark. So, all right, let me see here. What do we got? I'm gonna go and move on. You know what? It's time to pay some bills, guys. I'm not even sure what I have queued up here. Let's go with this one. And as usual, I'm still drinking coffee. I'm still talking smack. Still love my country. Do me a favor. Put a 1 in the chat if you love your country. America. And yeah, let's do that and pay some bills. That's the good stuff. When disaster strikes, when seconds count, where will you turn? Refuge Medical delivers professional-grade medical supplies and trauma kits built for real-world emergency, whether it's natural disaster, civil unrest, everyday accidents, or the friggin' apocalypse. Now, from premium bleeding control kits and IFAKs to complete family emergency medical bags, every Refuge Medical product is thoroughly designed, rigorously tested, and packaged with the highest quality components, so you're never caught unprepared. America. Trusted by preppers, first responders, and responsible families across the country, Refuge Medical gives you the confidence to protect the ones you love when it matters. Don't wait until visit refugemedical.com right now and build your refuge today. Okay, let's get back to the video. Okay, now those bills got paid. Let's go ahead and talk about a little bit of preparedness stuff here. This one is actually coming out of the Canadian Prepper Network. If you guys didn't know this, things are not so great in Canada. And let me make sure I've got, there we go. Things are not so great in Canada. And so preparedness is getting kind of mainstream there in Canada, which is one of the reasons why I I started, that's the reason for the poll question, actually. And so I wanted to see if people are talking about it more here in America that you're seeing. So, you know, how preparing for preppers meet exposes weak point in your gear organization and emergency plans. I'm going to see if I can't make this bigger. That's what she said. So let's see. Can I slide that over? I cannot. So, you know, Preppers Meet Week is here, and across Ontario, people are pulling tents from basements, digging camp stoves out of garages, checking sleeping bags, charging batteries, and trying to remember where they stored everything from the last camping trip. And this is more than just camping, guys. You know, packing for Preppers Meet requires you to locate your equipment, inspect it, move it, fit it into a vehicle setup away from home, and live from it for several days. That process exposes problems that are easy to ignore when supplies remain stacked on shelves. Now, you know, I guess the article covers some major thoughts that everybody should have. I'm not going to sit here and read you the article. You can read it yourself. But you know, preparedness often begins with acquisition, or should I say owning gear is not the same as being ready. Preparedness often begins with acquisition. Food is stored, water containers are purchased, a tent goes into the basement, first aid supplies are added to a cupboard, flashlights appear in drawers throughout the house. It all seems magical. These things just happen, right? But over time, a household can accumulate a respectable amount of equipment without developing a reliable system for using it. But thinking about it this way, a bug out plan does not begin when the vehicle pulls out of the driveway. It begins when someone says, we may have to leave, and the household starts gathering what is needed. And then we move on to, can you find sleeping bags immediately? Are the tent poles stored with the tent? Is the camp stove clean and operational? Do you know where the fuel is? Are medications and important documents ready to move. And here's a question right here that I love. Can one person load the vehicle if another person is dealing with children, pets, communications, or a last-minute household problem? I think the general idea is pack like you are bugging out. And if we do this, what happens is we're in a perpetual state of readiness. You know, it's people talk. So in the military, I can only speak for the Marines specifically, but they have something called Air Alert. All right, and I won't go into a lot of details, but there are different levels of Air Alert. And Air Alert means that, and what they do is they'll take an infantry unit, but they also have it. I don't want to go into too many details, but they'll take an infantry unit and say, okay, you guys are on Air Alert, and if something goes wrong in the world, you're the guys we're putting on the plane first. Okay, so these guys are going to be at the highest level of readiness to literally get out the door. All right, now when we say that, what does that mean? Okay, in an infantry unit, you have your infantrymen, you have their personal equipment, their bullet launchers, and all the things that they need to make those things work. Leadership, they have everything they need. But then you have like the logistics, like the ammunition, the food, the water, the trucks, whatever it may be that they need to be able to carry out a mission, right? So all of that normally stays stored someplace, right? Well, with Air Alert, what happens is you have everything. It's like it's on the flight line. It is ready. It's palletized. It is ready to be forklifted into a big old plane and sent someplace, right? You need to think about it that way, because we have a tendency to have our stuff strewn everywhere. And what we've got to do is we've got to get out of the mindset of, you know, hey, okay, so we are definitely staying here. That's the number one line, and we're going to bug in. The thing is the purpose of the bug out is to make sure, the purpose of the bug out is because there may or may not become a situation where you're at is no longer safe and you have to leave. It's that easy. Even if you don't have a plan to be anywhere, which I highly recommend you do, because that's normally the first step in a bug out plan. Know where you're going, all right, and have a plan to get there. You don't want to be trying to load your damn car at 0 dark 30 or whatever's, and stuff be everywhere. It should be staged someplace. If you're watching things that are happening here in the country where, you know, maybe looting has started in your area and you're starting to worry about it, these trigger events that could fire off telling you to get out of Dodge, then those should be strategically placed somewhere so that you literally just go from that point to the vehicle to get out of town. It's that easy. People are like, well, I just keep my bug out bag in my car. That's great. That's great. But I would rather have a car full of things than a bug out bag, which is literally just survival camping for 72 hours. We can get into the live off the land conversation, but I don't have 3 weeks to make you understand that only works for a certain period of time. But what we can do is we can talk about making sure that you have things that are strategically placed so that it's very easy to get them into your car. Because if your car is fully loaded all the time, then you're not really going to be getting full use out of your car. That's for sure. Especially if you got kids, it's going to be an issue. It's going to be an issue. All right, let's see here. I'm going to go to the poll here real quick, and the poll just disappeared. Why am I in top chat? Latest live chat. I really hate it when it does this. Let me see if I can restart this, and it'll give me. There's the poll. Okay. All right, so let's see. We went up by 1 vote. The question is, are you seeing preparedness become more mainstream? Starting, but fully not yet. 45%. 27% still mostly niche. 18%. Yes, clearly trending now, and 9% having noticed no changes whatsoever. I mean, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Like I said, up in Canada, it's pretty prevalent. You know, even to the point where the leftists are starting to realize that what they did isn't so great. It's not so smart, and yeah, it's like, why is this happening? It's happening because you made it happen. It's happening because you made it happen. Okay, do me a favor, guys. If you could wake up the chat, put a 1 in there. We lost some watchers. Basically lost half of our watchers right now, but I don't even know if it's true because YouTube lies to me all the time. Okay, so the next thing that I wanted to do is a little bit of news, but also it's on the preparedness side and a little bit of common sense and health. But you need to be aware that this is happening because it may happen to you. Okay, so right now, so apparently Michigan is ground zero for an explosive diarrhea parasite, and the cases have exploded to 400%. That's a pretty high number. Can I make this bigger? Rub it. There you go. All right, so Michigan is getting, sorry about that, guys. Michigan is getting hardest hit in a fast-spreading nationwide outbreak of stomach parasite, which causes exploding more than fourfold in a matter of days. So people are exploding. The state saw infections skyrocket from 170 to 681 by Monday. Exploding diarrhea. The biggest single jump reported anywhere in the country, according to health officials. New York has logged 120 cases since May 1st. The state official told the Post. While Texas was confirmed 48 cases as of Monday, Illinois has also seen a sharp rise, when reports ranging from 11 to 80 cases through mid-June, according to the CDC update. Michigan health authorities, who are investigating what they call a large and growing outbreak, now put the state's count at roughly 700 as of Monday, about 13 to 14 times Michigan's typical annual total by 40 to 50 cases. Where are we at here? The cases are concentrated in 8 southeast Michigan counties: Monroe, Lenawee, Washington. We got the Indian names: Wayne, sure, I'm not even going to say it. Jackson, Oakland, Livingston. Where are we at here? Federal officials have urged, and I have to shrink that down so I can actually read it to you. Federal officials have urged caution about linking the spikes together. The Center for, because they don't want you to go, oh my God, it's nationwide. It is already, but how did it get to Texas? Why is New York so blue? That's a problem. That's a problem, guys. Anyway, so now the Food and Drug Administration said it was not in a position at the time to characterize the current numbers as definitively unusual while its investigation continues. Nationally, the CDC counted 145 cases across 17 states between May 1st and June 16th, a tally that excludes Michigan's surge with 20 hospitalizations and no deaths. Thank God. No one wants to die from diarrhea. That is for sure. Bradley Collins, thank you very much for that $4.99 donation to the candy jar, keeping the cancer girls food, her candy jar. And I may have to stop doing this, guys, because she gets weighed every time we do chemo. She had chemo yesterday. Yeah. I'm going to leave it right there. Guys, make sure you guys give him a thumbs up for that. I appreciate you all. Let's see here. So, the CDC, and whenever the CDC or the FDA get involved, it's really all about, it's really all about, where are we at here? Super red. There we go. Keeping things, we don't want people freaking out. Okay. And frankly, anybody who thinks about explosive diarrhea, it's normally related to some kind of movie where things are really funny, things like that. But truth be told, I would not want to be involved in that. We got the Dumber and Dumber clip where he's got his explosive diarrhea. I don't think we're going to show that. The illness. I was about to say, when are they going to? Oh, that was bad. Can I guess we're going to see that for a sec. Let's do that. There we go. The illness is caused by Cyclospora caetanidis. It's a microscopic parasite that spreads through food or water contamination with feces. Most often fresh produce, and it is not known to spread from person to person because the parasite needs 1 to 2 weeks outside the body to become infectious. It is treated with the oral antibiotic. Never even heard of this before. That must be a crazy antibiotic. I've never even heard of that before. Sold as Bactrim. Bactrim. Isn't that fitting, right? Typically over a 10-day course. Untreated symptoms can last for a few days to more than a month and may relapse. The CDC advises washing all fruits and vegetables thoroughly underwater before eating, cutting, and cooking. Also, where we at? Christy Cooper spoke. Okay, that's not a big deal. This is worse than like any flu I've ever gotten or anything. Anybody who says I immediately think of Valley Girl. This is worse than any flu I've ever got or anything. It's miserable. I'm worn out from it. I really am, she said. I can imagine it is. If you guys, death by diarrhea is very common once you go probably, I don't know, south of the border, basically. Once you move south, death by diarrhea is actually kind of common. People will catch a bug and they will just not be treated and die of dehydration. So within days after crushing gas, exhaustion, vomiting, nausea, painful cramps, and 100.2 degree fever, doctors are treating her with the sulfa-based antibiotic, and she's now on the road to recovery. So here's a funny thing. There's actually a lot of people that are allergic to sulfa-based antibiotics. So I'm wondering what their treatment plan would be, to be honest with you, if that were the case. All right, we've got Bradley sent stars for Tool Jewels. I still don't know what that is, but I appreciate you, Bradley. And we've got Brooklyn Girl says New York and New Jersey are seeing more cases daily. More cases daily. All right, it looks like the poll has changed a little bit, not a lot. The question is, are you seeing preparedness becoming more mainstream? And before I read any more of this, guys, if there's anything that you want to talk about, do me a favor, or you want me to comment on, put that in the chat because we're starting to roll up on the end. I can only do this for 1 hour every Friday. You're welcome. I don't mind. All right, so the question is, are you seeing preparedness become more mainstream? 42% say starting but not fully yet. 33% say still mostly niche. 17% say yes, clearly trending now. And 8% haven't noticed any changes. The reality is that I am seeing it more and more. I'm sorry for the shaking because I'm on this floppy table. I am seeing it more and more because more and more people are joining the Patreon. This is not a sales pitch. If you're interested, there's a link in the description. And if you want to pay $5, you're going to get the exact same thing as the $10 people. Also, if you haven't noticed the names of people going across the bottom of the screen. Anyway, preparedness is coming out of its niche. I mean, 2 years ago, we talked about a survey that came out the year before that, where there was 20% of Americans are starting to develop the preparedness mindset. They're moving away from the 3-day pantry into having more food. You know what I'm saying? And so I am seeing the preparedness, the people who are speaking more about preparedness. What they do is they talk about the economy. They talk about prices. They never say prepper. They never say preparedness. They never talk about survival in any way. They just don't want to be caught, you know, with their pants down. And so they're prepping, but they don't, either they know and don't want to say it, or they don't know and they're filling their pantries up. And this is something that I'm seeing like every day. We have friends that we spend time with, and in the last few days, conversations with them, they're like talking. It's not new, but that they're like, yeah, man, go to Costco, go to freaking Sam's Club because they've got this deal and we can have that, and then we're not going to need it later. If you guys didn't know this, it was right around the COVID time period. They started talking about coffee prices. They started talking about some really bad weather in the countries where they grow coffee. Obviously, it's South America, Brazil, that kind of thing, Colombia. But they started talking about that, how they're going to have to raise prices. And then everybody kind of got used to spending $18 for half a pound of frickin' coffee, you know, when it used to be like $5, $6, $8, $9, $10. You know what I'm saying? Depending on what you bought. And so now that is something that they're talking about again. They're talking about a bad growing season. They're talking about the economy. There's a lot of excuses that I'm hearing, but the bottom line is that they're projecting out to us. Oh, by the way, guys, price of coffee is getting ready to go back up. So if you're one of those people that loves them some coffee, you might want to stock up on a little bit. Remember that you can't keep it forever. It's not going to stay on your pantry, even if you vacuum seal it or go with green beans or whatever it is, or roast your own. That's going to obviously extend your ability to have coffee. But, you know, hey, Bradley. All right, be safe, man. We'll talk to you later. West Virginia Pappy, good to see you, man. I don't see you very often, West Virginia Pappy. What the hell? Get off the TikToks. Anyway, but yeah, the price of coffee is projected to go up. How high will it go? I don't know. Let me see here. I'm just searching price of coffee live, investing in coffee futures, U.S. coffee C future prices today from investing.com. This is show me a graph. Show me a graph. There we go. And then let's go ahead and throw that over here. So right now it's not too crazy. Okay. It's not too crazy, but you can see since a couple of days ago. Yeah. Since this morning. And I don't know why. Let's go to 1 day. All right. So in 1 day, that were the coffee. Let's go to, I wish they normally have 1 year on here, 1 month. All right. So as you can see, the price of coffee has gone up over the years. Let's go to COVID, like right here, COVID. And then all of a sudden, so kind of be aware of it. Things are going to be happening. Things are going to be happening. No, I'm not an investment advisor. This is not investment advice. Disclaimer activated. All right, let's see here. Glad I don't drink coffee. I got you, bro. Let's see here. But it is what it is. It is what it is. It's just me basically throwing it out to you guys. Kind of be aware if you drink coffee, you might want to go to Sam's Club and get your hands on some coffee. I always recommend the beans. They last longer. The green beans are the best because then you can roast them yourself and they last even longer. You know, it's not a cycle, but it's a stepped process as to how long they will last. Even if they're vacuum sealed, they're not that great. Or maybe just go buy instant coffee, because instant coffee is actually freeze-dried coffee. That's why I always think it's hilarious when you go to somebody's, I think it's like My Patriot Supply will sell you like a pound of freeze-dried coffee for like $25 or something like that, right? It's like, but I can go to the $1.25 tree and buy freeze-dried coffee. Freeze-dried coffee tastes like freeze-dried coffee. I don't care who makes it. It's just the way it is. So note to self, don't buy those stupid products. Don't buy those dumb products. Also, we're almost at the end, so I just wanted to share with you guys, what was it, I think it was last Tuesday night, we had chicken and mashed potatoes and carrots. And for the mashed potatoes, I use the Thrive mashed potatoes. They're freeze-dried. It came out really good. It came out really good. So freeze-dried mashed potatoes, good to go. Freeze-dried carrots. Be cautious if you're buying freeze-dried carrots that are like pre-processed, like they're chopped up. Do not buy the dices, okay? Because that's literally what they are. They're like these slivers of carrots. And they're okay, but you have to soak them. It says to cook them for 10 to 18 minutes in boiling water. But I highly recommend that you soak them for a long period of time, because even after cooking them for like, boiling them for like 20 minutes, they still had that crunch that they shouldn't have. So just an FYI on that one. So let's see. Nescafe in the preps. There you go. There you go. Nescafe makes some good freeze-dried coffee. But once again, I mean, it's... And you know, I would be cautious. Anything that has like a different flavor, that's going to have things in it that are not going to be as shelf stable for a long period of time as pure coffee that's been freeze-dried. So it is what... It's still good. It's still good. All right, final look at the poll. If you haven't answered the poll yet, now is the time to do it. The question is, are you seeing preparedness become more mainstream? 46%, wait a minute. 46% say starting but not fully yet. 31% say still mostly niche. 15% say yes, clearly trending now. And 8% say haven't noticed any changes. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and steal that. I need to steal that from, there we go. We're going to do that. So I have that. I can put that up on the thingamabobbers. All right, guys. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me. Bradley, thank you for the $4.99. I appreciate you. I know I kind of put that goal up late in the game, but it is what it is. I'm not worried about it. That's not why I'm here anyway. I want to make sure that you guys are getting the information that you want. If you do want to support the channel and you're still here, do me a favor, take a look at the Patreon. So this morning, I went to a local store and bought a cup of coffee, and a breakfast sandwich, and it was $6.92. And if the bottom line, guys, is you probably noticed I don't make a lot of videos over here anymore. I've actually started to put shorts back up, which I haven't done in a while. I'm doing basically one video every 2 weeks over here. They're still good videos, don't get me wrong, but all of my best stuff is over on the Patreon, and that thing is getting loaded up on the daily. I can only recommend it. It's $5 a month. $5. Yeah, that's how you help the channel out if you really want to help the channel out. All right, guys, I'm done chilling for myself. Stay safe. Have a great weekend, and I shall see you when I see you. For everybody else that's in the Patreon, that's how you'll find me, in the live members-only Discord. Now you know that. You guys have a great weekend. We shall talk to you later. Bye-bye. Yeah, I got to find... I don't have my fancy buttons over here anymore, so I've got to find, like, do I even have anything? I don't even have anything. I don't have anything, so I'm just going to hit the button and stop streaming.